Thank you for joining us at Cocopah Now podcast. I'm Jonathan Athens. Joining us to talk about traditional Cocopah dolls, Joe Rodriquez, Cocopah Museum Director, and Ulises Heredia, Curator for the Cocopah Museum. Tell me a little bit about these dolls.
Well, we received these dolls in particular are one of the cultural a craft that has been ongoing since our tribe has come across needle and thread, fabric, and through colonialism that's been passed through with all these different types of textiles and hence of course children prior to had dolls but made out of clay and or plant-based hair and body whatever, but once fabric had come into play, and then it became much more easier to make, and also the aspect of selling them, people took a liking to it, and it became an economic venture for them, a micro business, if you will. And so at the same time, this is part of our culture. We're also have this inside of our collections, and we have a few, and the ones we have here in front of us, something that we like to cover some history on that as well.
Talk about the cultural significance of these two particular dolls that I believe someone very close to you made.
Yes, the story goes that we had someone that had worked with the tribe some years back had these were given as gifts, and they in turn returned them to us, stating that they had want these back with the originators. And of course, upon looking upon them and the names that went with it, this is so and so, this is so, different items, and these dolls were made by my grandmother's sister, Mary Coyote, and I said, wow, that's really neat because it has a connection to me, and plus quite a few of the rest of the family on her side, all her children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren. This is history and something that's still around, and they can see, the skill level of her craftsmanship. And we were admiring it this yesterday, myself and Ulises and a few other people said, look, this is some detail put into this that's, not common, because when you get smaller, the scaled down version, you try to make shortcuts, so it makes it a little difficult to try to replicate life size. And but this one is painstakingly taken a real good job making these dolls.
And let's just talk about these dolls as part of the Cocopah collection at the museum.
Right now, we have some dolls for display at the museum. These ones are being taken care of in the collection room. What can I say? I made sure that they are kept safe, and I try to clean them up a little bit if they have like little pieces of fabric here and there, so that they can really preserve their their beautiful looks, their beautiful craftsmanship. As Joe was saying, it's very detailed. They are both very detailed. They show jewelry. They show traditional attire like ribbon dress, or a ribbon shirt, even ribbon pants.
Yeah, even the significant, also including the turban. That's not very common that you see that.
Yeah, in this case we have a male doll here. But what it would be considered to be a male doll, and in this case it is wearing a turban, and even the turban, the fabric has some detail. It has like either leaves or feathers. So also maybe we could get a close-up of all the details, but even the turban has details as well.
Before this podcast, they did a little research, the Smithsonian and their collection of Native American dolls, the teaching guide. And the teaching guide talks about that dolls were not just for children to play, but they were actually for children to learn about life, because dolls represented life in miniature. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, just like the term escapes me now, but it's more of the training pattern for children, as just as you have with dolls, that connection with mothers and their children, and at the same time, how they can give lessons in the way how the responsibilities of the father, responsibilities of mother, and the children's responsibilities, and so all of this comes together in this little cycle, and that is then patterned onto dolls, so that as children grow up, then life lessons are passed on to them, so that as they grow up, they already have all this information and already learned it at a young age, as replicated through dolls that would give just tangible connectivity to these lessons that are passed on.
Also, something curious is that the skin colors vary a lot as well. Well, I'm guessing also depending on the fabric that were available. But in this case, we see like a brown, but we also have more like
Mocha.
yeah, or even
Tan, yeah.
white fabric. So they vary in I don't know what would be like almost like a skin color.
Diversity, basically, representing life, the diversity of life as well.
Yeah.
And that's going to do it for us for now. You can find Cocopah video podcasts exclusively on our YouTube channel, and our audio podcasts can be heard on SoundCloud, Stitcher, Spotify, and all major platforms. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.